To all the scholars present here and my fellow colleagues and the research scholars and students. 5 minutes is too short a time because I have a paper, but anyways I will try and concise my thoughts in 5 minutes only. We have talked enough about the social media since morning, and we all know that media has played a very effective role in transforming our lives. My paper focuses on the historical perspective, wherein I will transform you to a time when, in the name of media, all that existed was newspaper, right? And that too, not Indian newspaper. And I will take you to the foundation of the press, where Sir talked about Hickey, and I would again talk about Hickey, and before him there was Bolt. These are the two British people who tried to start newspapers. And it is really interesting to find out that how did journalism or press, print media start in India. With these two people, they were both British officials, retired from the East India Company, and what they wrote was, Sir just now told that, they wrote about the scandals of these British officials, and they wrote about all the things that really bothered them when they looked at the lives of these people. Now the question is that why is it that they were bothered about their own people and they wanted to bring that out for the public? Well, that is what forms the subject matter of these newspapers that came up initially in the year 1780s, when nothing could be thought about, right? And what was the reaction of the government then? The government bans them. Hickey is put in jail because he is writing against the company officials, and he writes about Warren Hastings and his private life, right? Now my question is that why is there a need for him to bring up all of this? On the contrary, I as a historian, when I look into the processes that are happening, we see that the East India Company is tremendously lost into looting India. Right? This is the time when we are absolutely in a state where we lay prostrate, and the whole the system of the East India Company they come in as traders, but they are in this way, in this phase they are in the process of complete loot and plunder. And when these British officials, the retired ones, they try to bring it out, there is a ban on that. So that's from where the history of publication or of newspaper begins in India. And thereafter we have 7 such newspapers, and it's interesting to note that all of these are British and they are again banned. I have the names of these. We have the newspapers such as Bengal Haikaru, Morning Post, Telegraph, Calcutta Courier, Oriental Star, India Gazette and Asiatic Mirror. Now all of these were printed and edited by the Englishmen. They were also subjected to restrictions and rigid control. Now these Englishmen, they can be then thereafter heralded as the pioneer or the leaders who set the stage for development of newspapers in India. Thus, like the introduction of English in India, the starting of print media came in a different way though, but the purposes of both, the foundation of English or the introduction of English, as well as the starting of print media had different purposes, but they served us in the long run. Now, in my paper, all I've tried to say is that we all know about Kesari, we all know about Maratha and the role of these newspapers in the 20th century, but I want to bring it to the audience that way before this, in the 19th century or maybe after the mutiny or by the mutiny, this whole period sees the growth of nationalism, patriotism. It sees the growth of socio-economic reforms through the newspapers. So they played a very, very important role in heralding, social reforms. And we have people such as Raja Ram Mohan Roy, the names that we know very familiarly. But however, there are many other names that haven't come up. But at the same time, we also see that since I do not have time, I will have to race through.
And also, Sharat, I have received the alarm bell also.
Yes, sir. So I will. That's why I'm coming to the point very quickly. And I'd just like to inform the audience about the very masala stuff that I found in doing my research on this paper.
To be honest, they shouldn't have kept so many speakers. Almost
surely, sir.
15 speakers in 45.
Surely, sir. So we have Metcalfe, and there's a publication by Keyes, and he brings it up in the life of Metcalfe. Metcalfe himself reminiscences, and he says that it was our policy in those days to keep the natives of India in profound possible state of barbarism and darkness, and every attempt to diffuse the light of knowledge among the people was vehemently opposed and resented. Now there's another anecdote related to that. It continues that Sydenham, wishing to gratify the desire expressed by Nizam to see some of the appliances of European science, procured for him 3 specimens in the shape of air pump, a printing press, and a model of a man of war. Having mentioned this in his demi-official correspondence with the Chief Secretary, he was censured for having placed in the hands of a native prince so dangerous an instrument such as printing press. So all that I've tried to bring out in my paper is that how the Britishers were afraid that this press, if the natives have that in their hand, they might use it to show the real nature of the British rule in India, and thereafter, it would be time for them to pack off and move out, so which they did not want. And that's why there's been a great restriction on the press during this period, and a large number of newspapers then emerge after mutiny. So we have a Hindi newspaper, Uddant, Martand, and thereafter, but native newspapers before this, 1821, we do not see any. Thereafter, we see a little, some papers coming up, and eventually a large number of them. And these newspapers have played very important role, especially, my focus is 19th century, and we come across certain Hindi, lines that I have procured here, because they could not write straight languages, and so they kind of camouflaged the weaknesses of the government, the atrocities of the government in their writings. I have just picked up 2 examples. They say that यदि यूरोपियन प्रजा में है तो उसे अजा की बलि क्यों देते हैं, यदि जन में है तो उसे फांसी क्यों देते हैं. Thereafter, I have also another one that I picked up. टैक्स पर टैक्स, अकाल पे अकाल और मरी पे मरी यही देखी जाती है. नित्य नए आईने से बांधा जाता है और नित्य नई स्पीचों से नोन छिड़का जाता है. So such kind of things were written in newspapers just to to express their grievances, their sentiments, to highlight the nature of the British rule. And I think with that I will come to the end of this my presentation with a thought that when print media was the only form of media available in this era of 19th century, today we have a plethora of mediums available in the form of social media, and so media can play a very, very distinguishing role and can act as a catalyst, and not just a catalyst, a big agent of social transformation.
Thank you, Sharda.
Thank you.
Close to the mic. हाँ शुरू करिए.
As I am from the Fine Art faculty, the topic is impact of social media in globalizing contemporary art and artists.
Just summarize it because we can read it. This is too much, I think.
So introduction. Today art has emerged as a global concept with the development of
What I suggest is, we can also read it.
Okay.
I wish you had done it in a more bullet form. You need to cultivate the habit of summarizing in bullet form. So can you just tell us the brief of this introduction?
The brief of that, so should I come to the pictures that it will be
right, that's right. And you can circulate it to all of us. That would be nice.
So something I came out with the social side promotion of the art to the social media. It is a very important aspect that I came out with searching the different social medias. Especially social media is a fundamental shift in the way we communicate with the world.
Okay.
It is now considered excellent and a powerful tool for the artist. It is also true that the social media is becoming an ex-art gallery. Especially as a fine art teacher, I am considering only how the social media is promoting in the fine art field, where artworks from around the world can be viewed at one platform. The social media plays a very important role for the artist. It is an informative media which develops the thoughts and ideas. In this challenging economy, being a successful artist not only consists of creating artwork, a great art, but it is also about creating strong business. So social media is the quickest way to build brand recognition for the artist and the art business.
Very good.
To create connection and the communication with the world, an artist has to keep the following action in mind to globalize their art forms. These are some steps I have taken out from the social media.
Just summarize one or two
Yes.
key steps.
So first, start writing a blog. If the artist start to write a blog, then it will be a famous artist. Not creating art is just not to become a famous artist. If we start writing a blog, then everyone can see the blog who is working in the present era. Create a Facebook page for the art, establish the artistic goals, share the link with the other artist's website, offer to write a guest post for someone else's blog, make your art easy to share, enter art competition through these social media only, comment on other artists. Through these social media, one can do all the things at one setting place. आप टेबल पे बैठे हैं और टेबल पे बैठे बैठे आप अपनी आर्ट को कैसे प्रमोट कर सकते हो, ये सबसे बड़ी चीज़ है सोशल मीडिया का हेल्पफुल रहा. These are some social sites, स्पेशली इंडिया में यूज हो रही हैं, आर्टिस्ट जो यूज कर रहे हैं. फेसबुक इज वेरी कॉमन, इंस्टाग्राम, लिंक्डइन, ट्विटर, पिनेस्ट, वेबसाइट, ब्लॉग. These are the very common social sites that our Indians are using. One of the Facebook page of the Vidyasagar. हम उस फील्ड के हैं इसलिए हमें पता है कि विद्यासागर उपाध्याय हैं, लेकिन जब मैं इस पेज को शेयर करूंगी विद अदर पीपल, दे आर नॉट फ्रॉम द फाइन आर्ट बैकग्राउंड, तो उनको एक पता चलेगा कि समवन इज देयर इन द फील्ड ऑफ फाइन आर्ट हु इज वर्किंग विद दिस मॉडर्न एरा. अनदर आर्टिस्ट विनय शर्मा, उनका भी फेसबुक, ये सब मेरे से लिंक थे, तो मैंने इनको पूरा सर्च आउट किया कि कैसे कैसे ये लोग आर्ट को आर्ट प्रमोट कर रहे हैं. चिंतन उपाध्याय, ही इज द यंगेस्ट आर्टिस्ट. Pramod Barua, Lagan Singh Jat, all are from the Jaipur. This is another social media, Instagram. One of the youngest student, उसने कुछ बनाया और उसने कुछ बना के उसको पोस्ट कर दिया. तो everybody was known to about the quilling art, कि एक नया मीडिया आर्ट का भी है. These are the website of the Vidyasagar Upadhyay. Again a website of the Surendra Joshi sir, he is my teacher. MF Hussain, everyone knows MF Hussain. ब्लॉग को हमने देखा और everyone knows कि MF Hussain कौन है, किसके उनके आर्ट के बारे में.
So in a sense you are aggregating the artist's work through social media.
Social media, yes sir.
It is like Saffron Art and Ocean and all that.
Yes sir. So these are some sites, other popular sites which are not common in India. These are the sites which are very common in the abroad. Culture Insight Gallery. इन सब साइट से हम क्या कर सकते हैं, हम बाहर के आर्टिस्ट की जो आर्ट हो रही है उससे हम नोन हो रहे हैं. अभी हमने इंडियन कुछ साइट देखी कि दीज साइट्स आर नॉट वेरी मच कॉमन इन इंडिया. कल्चर इनसाइट गैलरी, लेबर ऑन कल्चरल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, आर्ट व्यू कॉमन, आर्ट्स लैंड, आर्ट ब्रिस्टो, आर्ट.com, आर्टिस्ट टू आर्टिस्ट नेट, रिजॉन, आर्ट राइज एंड बिहाइंड. दीज आर द कॉमन साइट्स व्हिच आर यूज्ड इन द अब्रॉड.
That is from the artist, right? Not from me.
These are the benefits that I have come out for these sites. Benefits of the social network sites which help artists in globalizing their art. Help in networking with other creative people around the
The
world.
title itself says benefits, so we would know what it is. Conclusion is yes.
Conclusion, social networking plays an important role for the art and artists as the entire world becomes the audience. It has become easier for an artist to establish a profile and attach the fan base for their art without any involvement in either the gallery system or establish art world regardless in their education, experience or qualification. ये जरूरी नहीं है कि कोई आर्टिस्ट बहुत एजुकेटेड हो, अगर वो अच्छा आर्टिस्ट है तो सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू he can promote his art. When the artists start posting the art online, the people like what they see, appreciate the work, thus art will start to propagate. Social networking also helps in knowing interesting and potential.
I think we got a sense of it. What you could perhaps deliberate on, there are some artists who are somewhat hesitant to make their art pieces as commercial in the sense.
Yes, sir.
But that could be another debate on that.
Yes.
Anything else, Raja, please, references, that's one.
So last, as an artist, I know what art means on a potential personal level, and certainly convey that to people through this new media.
Thank you. I must admit, you are the first artist who speaks so much. Artist. I give you a joke about it.
Sir, my research paper talks about a critical study on the role of social media and the adolescence of Jaipur city. It is a primary study, just to be very brief due to the paucity of time. today's society, as we can see, we are living in a network society which is based on rationality, science and technology, and our experience is globalized in the sense we have formed various virtual communities with no constraints of time and space. Just a little bit of data, although this data is changing day by day. We have 110 million social network users, with 84% with urban backgrounds, and 87.1% million users experience internet on their smartphones. Male-female ratio is 6:40, and 15:24 is the age group which has the highest number of internet users. That makes the youth and adolescents the maximum number of users. Facebook is the most popular, followed by Twitter and LinkedIn. My study focuses on 5 schools of Mansarovar from Jaipur city, and it focuses on adolescents who were in the age group of 13 to 17. Sample size was 260. Just to brief up my conclusions, threats and challenges which are presently faced by the adolescents. As we can see that 50.15% of these students, they had negative effect on academic performance. Instead of giving time to studies, they spend time online. They have negative effect on reading and writing skills. They copied much of the content from the net. They have poor command on communication skills, which will definitely have a negative bearing on the future job prospects. Another threat is they are having an adverse effect on health. They don't go outside and play, as we are very well aware, which is leading to lethargy and obesity. Poor immunity and health will also be probable. 55.87% are less interactive with their family. That means they are developing an asocial attitude. They don't want to move out with their parents in functions and other occasions. They are becoming self-centered and individualistic. Coming to more negative effects, 55.92% have negative effect on their personality. They have different standards of behavior, online and offline. And online addiction is more, as we can see, students and adolescents, they want more of online gaming, online video games, and they don't want to involve in more physical activities outside. Some 54.92% also suffers from sleeping problems. They face irritability and depression. They 60% post personal information and photographs without taking permission from anyone. Just they do
Are these threats and challenges, or are these conclusions?
These are threats and challenges. I'm just coming to the last slide of my conclusion. 47.93% accept strangers as friends, which is also a negative thing. This makes them vulnerable to online risks.
Next.
40.95% also create fake profiles, and some also accepted that they have cracked passwords, they send viruses, they download illegal music, videos. They also accepted that they have suffered from cyberbullying, cyber defamation, and these are all technical terms. I hope we are a little bit aware of these terms. The important thing is that why this is happening is because sanctions are not well defined and implemented in cyberspace. This has led to increase in cybercrime, and adolescents, they are both potential victims and perpetrators. How can we deal with it? Just a little bit of that. We as parents can actively involve with our adolescents. We can teach them on privacy and safety, and we can also make them learn how to balance real and virtual life. That's all.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, one and all. Due to time constraint, I will try to be brief with my paper. The title of the paper is Role of Social Media in Daily Life. It is hard to know sometimes how our life has changed until we stop for a moment and look at how different it is from 10 or even 5 years ago. In recent years, social media, likely more than anything else, has significantly impacted most of our daily lives. Envisioning the global conversation that has developed over the past few years because of tools like Facebook and Twitter might have been unimaginable for most people at the beginning of the decade. The social network
opened up the possibilities of discovering the learning new information, sharing ideas and interacting with others. It is a fact that social media has tremendously changed the way the people interact and carry on with our everyday life. It has impact on the news delivery, social media and networking. It has a great importance in marketing as well, which nobody can deny, from the biggest brands in the world to the smallest business. 2011 proved to be a year when social media and services like Facebook, they became part of the fabric of everyday life around the world. The people has embraced social media in both simple ways, from the chance reunions to staying in touch with family to sharing photos of new children, and more profound, from New Zealanders and Japanese supporting the rebuilding after devastating earthquakes to Iceland drafting of a new constitution online with the citizens. Social technologies, they are transforming communities, companies and countries in several ways. First, we are seeing a huge shift in the way technology is powering a human being. Today on the internet, people can know who they are and what they want to be and what others they want to be.
Can you come to the conclusion, which is fine, some of it.
Okay. The old paradigm in communication was that the people generally revealed very little of their fears and doubts. They try to present the image of themselves to other people as completely confident and knowledgeable. The goal was to make sure that we appeared like we were always in complete control. But this is shifting in part because of social media. The paradigm is now no longer to try to appear perfect, but to be more transparent with our thoughts and feelings, to reveal our humanness. Even if we have few followers on Twitter or friends on Facebook or subscriber, the average person influence is increasing as communication channels are becoming more open. As the network for sharing and amplifying information strengthens, the ability of each person to influence public opinion and policies, it increases. As a result, we feel less like passive bystanders and much more like participants who have a voice in the events of the world. In every era, the culture, it goes through a numerous sort of the changes, and in recent years, ours has been more impacted than anything else by social media. But the need of the era is that this information and the social media, it should be used in a humanitarian manner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Today I want to present myself. I want to speak on the topic social media in everyday life. Through the years, our society has been slowly building its own culture. Norms, beliefs and practices were passed from one generation to another in oral, written, or we can say combination of both means of communication. Society continues to grow and advance in technology. Forms of media also evolve as apparent in the proliferation of mixed media use. Places of television, newspapers, and radio today have been taken up by social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc. A decade ago, it was really very difficult to contact with one another, and whom we know, and when we meet with them and we just lost contact with them. Today, through social media and these networking sites, we can again reconnect ourselves. It is also not only about reconnecting ourselves with friends and family members. Many companies are also using these sites to promote themselves, and they use these sites to advertise themselves. And people are getting attracted by these sites, and they buy these new clothes and variety of items from these sites, and it has become a new trend in today's society. Social media is highly useful tool in instantly distributing mass information. It conveys all information to common people of common interest. Apart from serving as a networking media, social media has also played an important role in mobilizing people as activists. And this we can see through the Delhi Assembly elections which held in 2014. All big shots of national and regional political parties use these sites to communicate with voters and to give information about press release, political campaigns and other informations. And also on Twitter we can see that individuals have 1 million more followers, and also on Facebook. And YouTube videos goes viral within a second. But spending a lot of time on these social media sites does not lead to happiness. Instead, tends to create sadness, boredom, and loneliness. Addiction to social media sites lack to the focus of students and professor workers. In the end, I would just like to conclude with a quote that is, use the media to help your daily life, not replace it. Thank you everyone.
Thank you. Pooja? Pooja, बिल्कुल शताब्दी की तरह.
Of addiction to media. Continuous watching of television and online gaming shifts the activity of left side of a brain, which is involved in logical thought and critical analysis, to the right side, which is involved in subjective interpretation. We think that why the teenagers are addicted to media. The reason is that whatever the violent abuse, verbal and non-verbal communication, or the cues which are shown on reality TV channels is automatically downloaded in their subconscious without them actively being aware of it. So they passively absorb all the information that is reflected upon them. Online gaming has the most disastrous impact on teenagers because it opens the door to the fantasy world. They have the graphic and visual representations of various games, like changes their mindset, they results in their distorted perception of reality. So, and the impact of Facebook and Twitter, they might have many acquaintances and friends on Facebook, but are these not widening the gap between their primary relationships, the social relationships? Sir?
Next up.
So, the Facebook and Twitter, the psychological reason behind this is that it is leading to the identity crisis. We call it psychosocial moratorium, a gap between the psychological interpretation of self and the subjective interpretation, the social relationships. Another important case is that recently a girl, a teenager, murdered her elder brother while learning it from a criminal television series. This shows that the social psychologists tell this that it is the modeling of criminal behavior, the imitation of violent and abusive language by teenagers. So what can be done? On individual level, can we start with no Facebook day and no television day for teenagers? Motivate them to start with an initiative on a grassroots level and teach them that how to objectively study the impact of media on them, to critically evaluate the positive and negatives of them. And I would like to end up with that, as food is a biological necessity, social media is also a social necessity. We can't avoid that. So we have to, like in food we are advised to have a balanced diet, so in media also we should be monitored and taught to have the quality and quantity of media exposure to children.
Thank you.
Namaskar, honorable guests, teachers and participants. I am here to present a paper on the topic Effects of Electronic Media on Children. Today we have seen that the children are very much influenced by the electronic media like television, movies, video games, cell phones and social networking sites have assumed central roles in your children's daily life. The media has demonstrated potentially profound effect, both positive and negative, on the children's cognitive, social and the behavioral development. There exist negative as well as the positive effects of electronic media. Negative effects are children spend an average 4 hours a day on television. Electronics, while useful for communication, schoolwork and entertainment, can cause problems if they are overused. Too much screen time can promote a sedentary lifestyle, one of the major contributing factors to obesity and a major risk for the heart disease according to the Texas Heart Institute. Obese teens are more likely to grow up to become obese adults and increase risk for chronic health conditions including heart disease and diabetes. Trading even just 30 minutes of electronic time per day for the physical activity can help significantly reduce these risks. The positive effects of electronic media are the gadgets may positively help them to stimulate their sense and imagination. Some may help to promote listening ability, learning sounds, and also speaking abilities. Electronic device may help in builds up innovating thinking, investigative skills, strategic thinking, and foster the creativity potential of kids. It starts to increase the confidence level of the children by mastering certain games. Besides that, it also motivates good attitudes of always moving ahead in life for achieving their aims. Recently, a community has conducted research on the effects of media on health and well-being of children. These studies have shown that media can provide information about safe health practices and can foster social connectedness. Hereby it concludes that the effect of electronic media is a good as well as a disastrous for children. We need to find ways to optimize the role of media in our society, taking advantages of their positive attributes and their negative ones. The ultimate goal is to reach youth with positive messaging. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. We have to break for lunch.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Professor Banavar is the editor of Premier Media Quarterly Journal, Communication Today, since 1997. He has been honoured by Public Relations Society of India and India Foundation for PR Education and Research for his meritorious research in journalism. Media Guru Award by Newspapers Association of India, Delhi, and Hall of Fame Award by Public Relations Council of India. He has widely travelled globally for his academic pursuits and contributed enormously to the cause of media education. We are honoured to have such an eminent personality like Professor Sanjeev Banavar with us. We welcome you, sir. Professor Ashok Obra.
Okay, मैं मेरा बेटा बस हो
पूरी बात है ना जब उनका पढ़ना ना
नमस्कार माननीय अध्यक्षगण एवं अन्य वक्तागण। नोबेल पुरस्कार विजेता अर्थशास्त्री अमर्त्य सेन कहते हैं, किसी भी लोकतांत्रिक देश में जहां स्वतंत्र प्रेस है वहां कभी अकाल और भुखमरी नहीं हो सकती। और वे कहते हैं कि मैं इसका कोई अपवाद नहीं जानता। दोनों बातों में रिश्ता बिल्कुल सीधा सा है। अकाल और भुखमरी केवल तभी संभव है जब किसी को भी सरकार के क्रियाकलापों, भ्रष्टाचार, नीतिगत निर्णयों की आलोचना करने की आज़ादी न हो, क्योंकि अंततः सरकारों की सक्रियता या निष्क्रियता ही फसलों के खराब होने और खाद्यान्न की कमी का कारण बनती है। स्पष्ट है कि सामाजिक, आर्थिक और पर्यावरण जैसे मुद्दों पर मीडिया की क्रिया और प्रतिक्रिया किसी भी समाज की आर्थिक, सामाजिक प्रगति और स्थायित्व के लिए बहुत आवश्यक है। मीडिया कर्मियों से हमेशा यही उम्मीद की जाती है कि वे समाज के लिए श्रेयस्कर को रिपोर्ट करेंगे और प्रगतिशील परिवर्तनों के प्रति आम लोगों को जागरूक करेंगे। यह बात जितनी कहने सुनने में आसान है उतनी है नहीं। सामाजिक आर्थिक मुद्दों को रिपोर्ट करना तुलनात्मक रूप से आसान है, लेकिन पर्यावरण एवं जलवायु परिवर्तन जैसे मुद्दों को जो समसामयिक हैं, महत्वपूर्ण हैं, उन्हें रिपोर्ट करना, छपवाना या न्यूज़ हेडलाइंस में जगह दिलवाना सबसे कठिन काम है। हमारा मीडिया पॉलिटिक्स से प्रेरित है और एक बायस है कि पॉलिटिक्स बड़े अपराध या हादसे की खबर की फ्रंटलाइन बन सकती है। संपादक और मीडिया हाउस के मालिकों को पर्यावरण खबरों को प्रमुखता देने के लिए तैयार करना शायद किसी भी एनवायरनमेंट जर्नलिस्ट के लिए सबसे बड़ी चुनौती है। हालांकि पिछले कुछ वर्षों में इन मुद्दों को भी कुछ लाइमलाइट मिलने लगी है। पर्यावरण मुद्दों पर कोपेनहेगन समिट के बाद अखबारों और टेलीविजन ने पर्यावरण मुद्दों को अछूत मानना बंद कर दिया है। फिर भी अन्य देशों की तुलना में हमारे देश में एनवायरनमेंट रिपोर्टिंग का चलन अभी कम है। भ्रष्टाचार, विकास संबंधित मुद्दे और जागरूकता की कमी एनवायरनमेंट जर्नलिस्ट के काम को और चुनौतीपूर्ण बना रहे हैं। जैसा हमारे उद्घाटन समारोह के मुख्य वक्ता श्री राहुल देव और अन्य वक्ताओं ने कहा कि बाजार की चुनौती हमेशा ही अर्थपूर्ण विषयों को सामने आने से रोकती है। आज के बाजार आधारित समाज में सबसे बड़ी चुनौती और सबसे बड़ा अवसर यही है कि अपने पाठकों, दर्शकों और श्रोताओं तक किस तरह से अर्थपूर्ण, समसामयिक और महत्वपूर्ण विषय नियंत्रण से मुक्त होकर ईमानदारी से पहुंचाए जा सकें। इस सत्र में हम इन्हीं सभी बिंदुओं पर चिंतन मनन करेंगे। अब मैं सत्र के अध्यक्ष प्रोफेसर भानावत से अनुरोध करती हूँ कि वे सत्र का संचालन करें।
MSc in Ecology and Environment from Indian Institute of Ecology and Environment, New Delhi. Professor Jain has been a gold medalist at postgraduate level and has several research publications to her credit. She has a vast administrative experience as the head of department for over a decade. She has also served as the Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences for one term. Her teaching interests are social change, sociology of development, sociological theory, sociology of religion, and sociology of thought. Her research interests include human rights, Dalit studies, and religion. We are privileged to have such an eminent personality like Dr. Poornima Jain amongst us. We welcome you, ma'am.
मैं आज के हमारे दोनों पैनलिस्ट भाई अशोक ओगरा जी और आदरणीय पूर्णिमा जी का स्वागत करता हूं। और घड़ी की सुइयां 3:02 का समय बता रही हैं और मुझे ये आदेश दिया गया कि 4 बजे के सत्र समाप्त करना है। और जो आपकी लिस्ट है वो शायद करीब 15 स्पीकर्स हैं। मेरे लिए जो ओगरा साहब से दुष्कर कार्य हो गया है, उन्होंने 5 मिनट का समय दिया था, लेकिन मुझे लगता है 2 मिनट से ज़्यादा समय दे नहीं पाएंगे। आप आएँ, विषय बताएं और उसका कंक्लूजन बताएं और स्थान ग्रहण करें, यही तरीका रहेगा। लेकिन फिर भी ये विषय बहुत रुचिकर रोचक है, इकोनॉमिक एंड एनवायरमेंटल इश्यूज इन मीडिया, संचार माध्यमों में। लेकिन जैसा गरिमा ने शुरू में कहा कि आज का जिस तरह का कंटेंट मीडिया में आ रहा है, मुझे लग रहा है थोड़ा बहुत बदलाव शुरू हुआ है। मुझे लगता है हर अखबार, हर चैनल उसके पीछे का पूरा घटनाक्रम, उसके कारण उनकी व्याख्या कर रहा है। उत्तराखंड में त्रासदी हुई, आधे घंटे के बहुत सारे इस तरह के प्रोग्राम्स तैयार किए गए, एक्सपर्ट्स को बुलाया गया, बातचीत हुई, समाचार पत्रों में सूचना दी गई घटनाओं की, उसके साथ साथ उसका क्या कारण है उनका विश्लेषण किया गया। बाकायदा एडिट पेज के ऊपर आर्टिकल्स छपे। जो बात राहुल जी के समय हो रही थी कि कितने लोग पढ़ते हैं, वो हमारे लिए चुनौती है। आर्थिक विषयों को लेकर के स्वतंत्र अखबार शुरू हो रहे हैं। आज से 20 साल पहले चांदी गुड़ की सोना उछला, लेकिन आज उसके पीछे क्या कारण है, उनका विश्लेषण करने की परंपरा शुरू हुई है। तो मुझे लग रहा है कहीं ना कहीं कुछ बदलाव आया है। लेकिन विषय ऐसा है, बहुत बात की जा सकती है, तो मैं अपने आप को संयम बरतते हुए अनुरोध करूंगा सबसे पहले आदरणीय ओगरा जी से, जिनका प्रिंट इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया बहुत लंबा अनुभव रहा है, तो ये सारा जो बदलाव है उसको किस रूप में देखते हैं, उसके बारे में हमें
योर स्टूडेंट्स। तो बनावत साहब का जो रोल है, जब मैं ये रोल अदा कर रहा था तो मुझे अपना ही वो एक जोक याद आ गया। कहते हैं कि there are 2 kinds of speakers which are very difficult to manage. One, if you are particularly a chairperson. One is a Japanese because it is so difficult to make him speak. And the other is an Indian, it is so difficult to stop him from speaking. मैंने प्रेजेंटेशन लाई थी, मेरा बड़ा फेवरेट टॉपिक है। आई डिलीवर लेक्चर्स ऑन दिस टॉपिक एट वेरियस मैनेजमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट्स इंक्लूडिंग IIMs। तो बट आई विल बी वेरी ब्रीफ। बनावत साहब ने पहले तो ये बताइए कितने बच्चों को पता है कि 4th एस्टेट क्या है? 4th एस्टेट किसको कहते हैं? 4th एस्टेट
फोर्थ स्टेट क्या है?
किसी को तो पता होगा। मीडिया के ही है या है ही नहीं? अच्छा, ये एक ही है। आपको एक 4th एस्टेट तो पता होगा ना? नहीं। अच्छा, तो फिर इंटरनेट कहते हैं, इंटरनेट एक ही है। एडमंड बर्क ने ये शब्द इस्तेमाल किया था while referring to the press gallery in the House of Lords। लेकिन इम्पोर्टेंट है, in the case of social media it is now referred to as the 5th estate। and the first indication इसकी जो आई थी वो थॉमस फ्रिडमैन की किताब वर्ल्ड इज फ्लैट में आई थी। I happened to do a detailed review of it, not a very laudatory review, but at heart, it became one of the best sellers. He's one of my favorite columnist of New York Times. So the social media, because of its power as a mass media, is referred to as the fifth estate, which is raising the fundamental question that are we seeing the death of mass communication as a term? Because every medium which is available now is mass communication. बनावत साहब ने सुनामी का जिक्र किया. ये सही बात है कि जब सुनामी हुई 2004 में 4 lakh people perched along 5 coastal Indian Ocean, Indonesia, Thailand, India, Sri Lanka and Malaysia. लेकिन उसी समय, the very next day, surprisingly, stock market showed a rise, not only in India but also in Indonesia. And this, in fact, Indian stock exchange breached 6,000 mark for the first time. And previous night we had tsunami. So therefore, while I agree with that, whether it was tsunami, whether it was Uttarakhand या मेरे कश्मीर में floods आए तो अच्छा रहा. But I think the linkage of creating the context is still missing. When I saw the floods in Kashmir, the point is what was happening for the last 30-40 years. तो उस पर media चुप क्यों रहा? Why are they waiting for an event to happen? And also an event where people become as stats, as numbers rather than as citizens. तो वो बड़ा ज़रूरी ये है. दूसरी सवेरे से बात हो रही है फैशन शो की. साइनाथ ने भी लिखा इसके ऊपर कि जब वो फैशन शोज होते हैं, there are more journalists than designers. But it is a fact. अब थोड़ा सा corporatization show, so let's not touch on that. That it should not be there is a given, but that it is there is something we need to accept. Point is, as journalists, as media people, how do we negotiate it? Therefore, when I am talking of Ritu Beri's show, I only focus on Ritu Beri as the designer, not the people who work behind her, the artisans, the tailors, and all the women and the men who work and do those masterpieces. So I think the space needs to be created in that. And I think that's what I am coming back to the issue, that we as journalists seem to, and we as teachers seem to think that the role of journalism is information. It is not information. It is information to create interest in that story. That's our role. Above all, at the end, at the risk of being immodest, Discovery Channel became popular, or National Geographic is popular, Animal Planet is popular, not because programs deal with animals. It is only because the programs are presented and constructed in a manner it makes it interesting. So therefore, can we translate this idiom of news, within quotes, into something without compromising the basics of the ethics of news? I think that's a challenge. And I think media teachers themselves need to reorient themselves and move away from finding fault everywhere and then leave the seminar. Great, you get a lot of applause and all that. But the issue is every year we repeat the same. So how do we negotiate it perhaps is and there are stories which are done exceedingly well. I just happened to read, saw some stories on done by SOM on, by one gentleman on Discovery Channel on 50 years of Indo-Pakistan War. Incredible story, war heroes and so on. The other I think important is कि journalists को कितना खुद पता है. I mean, when I talk to journalists or the media students कि butterfly effect क्या है? Pretty good. Can somebody in this audience tell me कि forests बनते कैसे? How do forests get made? Forests बनते कैसे? Okay, let me try and answer this. Forest एक natural process होता है. And then you also intervene and do the afforestation scheme. But 60% forests are because of butterfly. Because butterfly has the tendency to sit on the pollens and they stick to the legs, they fly and the forests get created. So therefore this interdependence of nature and this inability of journalists to distinguish between sustainability and environment, between environment and climate change, between, in fact, उसी पेपर में एक हफ्ते आएगा कि ice age is coming, and the very 15-20 days, 1 month, 1 year later, global warming is coming. Without understanding the linkage between it. And in this very same story, were constructed in a manner that gives me a bit of a broader understanding. Perhaps we would be able to take it. And let me illustrate with the last point with Kala, our inability to understand. And Sainath has written on it, but I am going a step further on that. कि कालांति का जिक्र करते हैं न्यूज़पेपर्स में तो invariably भूखमरी, this. And ask anybody, he will tell you. And the stories क्या होते हैं? Barren land, parched land, rain नहीं हुई, वो है ये. The average rainfall in India is 1023 millimeters. But Kalahanti receives a rainfall of 950 odd millimeters. Reasonably good. So the problem क्या? Every year it is declared as a drought-prone area. Problem is because there are 3 types of droughts. One drought is the agricultural drought. भाई सब कुछ ठीक है लेकिन disease आती है हर साल. लेकिन वो तो वही. The second is the meteorological drought. जी rain नहीं आई इसलिए, लेकिन वो तो कह रहा हूँ मैं rainfall अच्छा है. And third important is the hydrological drought. Which is rainfall आती है, agricultural disease भी नहीं है, but the access to that well and rain is controlled by the mafia. So therefore it brings me to the another point of telling the journalists that do not confuse the prosperity of the downtrodden and those who want to frame into socio-economic environmental concerns merely as ownership. You may have ownership of land, but if you don't have access to water, if you don't have access to seeds, if you don't have access to markets, that ownership is incomplete. And therefore what you are saying as the portrayal of suicides, in particularly Maharashtra, every 32 hours one suicide happens, is again portrayed as rural indebtedness. Important, but not excuse. Farmers' crisis is a larger crisis of access to markets, of access to seeds, of rural. There are farmers who have committed suicide who don't own any money. Rainfall not being there, irrigation poor facilities. So therefore the point I'm trying to make is that there is a need to take the media education to a level of trying to always present the context. Otherwise, I'm afraid we are losing that battle of the viewer and the reader interest. And in order to create that interest, we have to put the people and the citizen in the center of it. Tisra hai, you can only do that. You know, it's always said that it's public sector broadcasting. We don't say broadcasting for public. What does it mean? That means the important is public service, not broadcasting. Galat family. Broadcasting presupposes a public service. So the John Reith acha kaha that you must first understand public service. That if you don't understand public service, because broadcasting is an instrument for you to carry that public service forward. And I think we need to expand that to broader term of journalism, including film journalism, that we are, if, remember, there is no constitutional guarantee plus freedom. No, ये गलत है. Constitution में कहीं लिखा नहीं है plus freedom. Constitution gives the freedom to you to receive the unbiased report. So therefore the press freedom is dependent on you, underpinning is you, that you are entitled as citizen to get that balanced point of view. So I think these are the points, and this perhaps calls for a greater empathy and understanding on part of the media students and scholars to take it to the next level of understanding that why, you see, अब ये हो रहा है, न्यूज़ व्यूअरशिप कम है, न्यूज़ रीडर्स कम है, पढ़ते नहीं है. How do you deal with this? We have to be innovators. we have to create new idiom of communicating. We have to create new DNA for ourselves in terms of the teachers. And I would like to end on what Picasso says so beautifully. Picasso कहता है कि Picasso बड़ा famous painter था. वो कहता है कि painting is a blind man's profession. Painting is a blind man's profession. तो हैरान होता है कैसे हो गए? कहता है because painters don't paint what they see. Painters paint what they feel. If you as journalists only report factual, in fact I have a basic argument with this comment, facts are sacred, which they are, and comments is free. We need to expand on facts are sacred, to go beyond that. Okay, language of 20th century, we are in 21st century. कि वो कहता है कि painting is a blind man's profession. Painters don't paint what they see, painters paint what they feel. Therefore, as media scholars, students, journalists, we as managers, senior teachers, we need to create an empathy. And empathy will presuppose knowing that subject in greater detail so that we can take it to the next level. And the moment you have empathy for the subject, I can tell you, your story, your TV program, your advertisement, your press release, all will stand out. Thank you.
ओगरा जी ने मीडिया के आर्थिक और पर्यावरणीय परिदृश्य को स्पष्ट करते हुए मुख्य रूप से कोई भी मीडिया कर्मी किसी सूचना को कितने रोचक तरह से प्रस्तुत करता है, ये मुख्य है। और जो ओगरा जी डिस्कवरी में लंबे समय तक रहे और जब भी इनसे बात करने का मौका मिला तो एक एक कार्यक्रम के ऊपर कितना रिसर्च किया जाता है और कितनी मेहनत की जाती है, वो आप कभी प्रोग्राम्स देखें तो उसका एहसास कर सकते हैं। और यही प्रवृत्ति यदि हमारे यहाँ मीडिया में डेवलप हो तो शायद बहुत सारी समस्याओं से हम लोग बाहर निकल सकते हैं। लेकिन ये अच्छा संकेत है, आज देश के कई विश्वविद्यालयों में साइंस कम्युनिकेशन की कोर्सेज शुरू हो गए हैं और साइंस कम्युनिकेशन का DST ने पूरी एक मुहिम चला रखी है। मैंने अपने यहाँ 2 सेमिनार्स के डिपार्टमेंट में साइंस कम्युनिकेशन के पेपर्स इंट्रोड्यूस किए जा रहे हैं। तो मुझे लगता है कि नई पीढ़ी जब उनसे जुड़ेगी तो शायद जिनकी चिंताएं अपन आज प्रकट कर रहे हैं कहीं दूर कर पाएंगे। ओगरा जी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, उन्होंने इस चर्चा की शुरुआत की। और अब मैं आमंत्रित कर रहा हूँ एक समाजशास्त्री को। समाजशास्त्री किस तरह से संचार माध्यमों के एक पक्ष को देखते हैं, क्योंकि आज हम सभी किसी किसी रूप से मीडिया के उपभोक्ता हैं। एक समाजशास्त्री का पक्ष पर्यावरण और आर्थिक मुद्दों को लेकर के जो कुछ प्रकाशित प्रसारित किया जा रहा है, मैं अनुरोध करूँगा प्रोफेसर पूर्णिमा जैन जी से कि वे इस संदर्भ में अपने विचारों से मैं लाभान्वित करें। प्रोफेसर पूर्णिमा जैन।
कितना टाइम मुझे मिलेगा?
करीब 10 से 12 मिनट और।
थैंक यू चेयरपर्सन वेनबट साहब। ये टॉपिक बहुत रेलिवेंट है आज के टाइम में, क्योंकि जो पोस्ट मॉडर्निस्ट सोशोलॉजिस्ट हैं वो कहते हैं कि मीडिया जो सोशल रियलिटी को पोर्ट्रे करता है वही रियलिटी डोमिनेट करती है इन द माइंड्स ऑफ द पीपल। तो इसलिए मीडिया का बहुत अहम भूमिका है आज के समय में। और जब हम एनवायरनमेंट की बात करते हैं तो मोस्टली लोग का वन डायमेंशनल थिंकिंग होती है कि एनवायरनमेंट मीन्स नेचुरल एनवायरनमेंट, पर एनवायरनमेंट ऑल्सो इंक्लूड्स सोशल एनवायरनमेंट। Social environment where we talk of relationships between individuals, people, between institutions, between groups. So, topic which I have selected for today's brief talk is transgender and media issues and perspectives. Transgender, as most of you must be knowing, is a person who is not by birth behaving or dressing like a male or a female, but it is he or she is behaving or dressing like a other gender person. For example, if a male is born, he may behave like a girl, he may behave like a female, and a female may behave like a male. So that is called transgender. It can be by birth or it can be by practice and behavior. This is a very important issue in today's society, globally as well as nationally. Gender is one of the most pervading and given social category. It is a social category because we define a group of person who are transgender as a category. ये जेंडर जो है इट इज सोशली कंस्ट्रक्टेड, और जेंडर हमारे सारे लाइफ के सारे एस्पेक्ट्स को डिसाइड करता है, डिटरमिन करता है. व्हेन ए चाइल्ड इज बोर्न, फर्स्ट observation of the medical practitioners as well as of the family members as well as of the society and community is what is the sex of the child, whether it is a female or it is a male or none of these. So this is a very crucial issue to discuss and to be portrayed by the media, because gender जो transgender people हैं उनको मीडिया में अभी बहुत स्पेस नहीं मिली है. वेस्टर्न सोसाइटी में फिल्म्स बन रही हैं, देयर आर नंबर ऑफ फिल्म्स व्हिच हैव बीन पोर्ट्रेड ऑन ट्रांसजेंडर पीपल, बट इन इंडियन सोसाइटी इट इज नॉट ए क्रूशियल एंड डोमिनेंट इशू टू बी पोर्ट्रेड इन मीडिया. सो आई वुड लाइक टू अट्रैक्ट योर माइंड टू गिव इट ए प्रॉपर एंड प्रोफाउंड कवरेज. This implies that while living out one's life locally or globally, gender is constantly present in our mind. जब whenever a person goes out of the family or in the community or society or school, हमेशा ये दूसरे लोगों का ध्यान रहता है कि ये लड़का है या लड़की है, how he or she is behaving. अगर वो oppositely behave करता है, like if a girl is behaving like a boy, तो उसको लोग एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते, सोसाइटी उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करती. तो इसलिए ट्रांसजेंडर्स के साथ जो इनजस्टिस हो रहा है समाज में, वो दे आर नेग्लेक्टेड. जो मेजर इश्यूज हैं इनके ट्रांसजेंडर के वो हैं कि दे आर नेग्लेक्टेड, दे फील लोनली, दे आर नॉट एजुकेटेड, दे आर नॉट गिवन द राइट टू एजुकेट. ऑल्दो सुप्रीम कोर्ट, ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट लास्ट ईयर ऑन 15th April हैज गिवन लीगल स्टेटस टू ट्रांसजेंडर एज थर्ड जेंडर. But still, in the mindset of the people, it is not there. They have not accepted transgender as the normal category or the normal people. So, फैमिली वाले हैं और जो समाज वाले हैं या स्कूल वाले हैं, इनको आगे नहीं बढ़ने दे रहे, इनको मेन स्ट्रीम में इंक्लूड नहीं होने दे रहे. दिस इज अ मेजर इशू, दिस इज अ मेजर प्रॉब्लम. तो उसके लिए हमें क्या करना होगा? इसके लिए कोई लॉ बनाने से काम नहीं चलेगा. जैसे कि बहुत सारे देयर आर सेवरल लॉज रिगार्डिंग सेवरल इश्यूज इन द सोसाइटी, इन आवर नेशन. बट जब तक लोगों को एजुकेट नहीं किया जाएगा, जब तक लोगों के माइंडसेट को चेंज नहीं किया जाएगा, तब तक ये लॉज जो है इफेक्टिवली हम उनको इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं कर सकते. इसलिए ट्रांसजेंडर्स को एजुकेट करना और ट्रांसजेंडर्स के लिए कम्युनिटी एंड फैमिली वालों को एजुकेट करना इज ए बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट, बेसिक नीड ऑफ द आवर. मेजर जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, करंट स्टेट जो है ट्रांसजेंडर्स की इन इंडिया, वो है कि जो डेटर एंड क्रेडिटर, जो इनका जो गुरु होता है ट्रांसजेंडर का, उसमें एक डेटर एंड क्रेडिटर का रिलेशनशिप होता है. तो दे बिहेव लाइक ए बॉन्डेड लेबर, और by the guru he takes the this transgender as the bonded labor. He cannot leave his guru. So this is a major problem. Bonded labor जो है legally abolish हो गया इंडियन सोसाइटी में, but in this community it is still being practiced. दूसरा है जो lives of eunuchs है, they are known by several names. eunuchs है, हिजड़ा है, transgender है, और in south में they are also known by abintas, several other names also. So the eunuchs are very secretive and they are prohibited to do certain things and to keep up certain jobs. There are strict do's and do nots prescribed for them by their gurus, and if they violate these rules, they are given harsh punishment and also declared a dandel in extreme cases. That means outcasted. In Indian society, caste system was very dominant and still it is being practiced. तो जब कास्ट, एक पर्टिकुलर कास्ट में जब कोई व्यक्ति अपनी कास्ट के रूल्स को वायलेट करता है तो उसको कास्ट से बाहर निकाल दिया जाता है. इसी तरह से ये जो ट्रांस हैं, इनको भी अपनी कम्युनिटी से बाहर निकाल दिया जाता है अगर ये अपने गुरु के रूल्स को फॉलो नहीं करते हैं. फिर दे आर ऑल्सो डिप्राइव्ड ऑफ फंडामेंटल राइट्स एंड दे आर शन्ड बाय फैमिली एंड सोसाइटी. देन देयर इज ए रेस्ट्रिक्टेड एक्सेस टू एजुकेशन, क्योंकि जब ये एजुकेशन में अगर कोई ट्रांस को भेजा भी जाता है तो वहाँ पर टीचर्स का बिहेवियर, उनके कलीग स्टूडेंट्स का बिहेवियर उनके साथ बहुत नेगेटिव होता है, तो इसलिए वो वहाँ से ड्रॉप आउट हो जाते हैं. तो ये एजुकेशन में आगे नहीं बढ़ पा रहे. अगर आप टोटल फिगर देखें इंडियन सोसाइटी का। तो ट्रांस की जो एजुकेशन है वो लेवल जो है, ट्रांस की एजुकेशन का लेवल बहुत कम है, इनके एम्प्लॉयमेंट का लेवल बहुत कम है, इनको कोई जॉब्स नहीं देते हैं, और अगर जॉब में ये चले भी जाते हैं, सपोज दे हाइड देयर sex and their gender, and they come to the office or the organization comes to know about their sex, then they will put the person out. Then they have been restricted rights available to them, treated as legal non-entity in violation of Article 14, 15, 16 and 21 of the Indian Constitution. 10 मिनट तो नहीं हो गए? 5 मिनट. Thank you. Then they are given social injustice. They are not given social justice. Problem of transgender begins at birth or at an early stage of childhood when a particular gender orientation is needed. They encounter various types of negligence, humiliation and abusive incidents. It tarnishes the family image also, because if a child is born as a transgender, then family also is humiliated and they hide the sex of the child and they will not disclose it, and if the sex of the child is known, then they will feel that our status is lowered in the society, so they will put the child out of the family. Then they are one of the most marginalized sections of society. Then they also experience identity crisis, because in our society or in anywhere else in the world, trans is treated as a curse. It is treated as a stigma, and they are not treated equal to other normal human beings. Then result is discrimination, denial or inadequate access to various benefits, services and facilities offered by the government. As TG, they have often excluded from family events, weddings and funerals. On the other hand also, if a child is born, he or she is given in the hands of a trans so that he gets the blessings of the trans. It is considered as auspicious also. So in marriage also, the couple is sent to the trans for taking the blessings of the trans. So on one side they are treated as deity or as God. On the other hand, they have been mistreated by the society and the community. There was a survey conducted in 2009. So they have reported certain problems. So this was one of the problems reported by the survey. Then they are also denied fundamental rights. They are given discrimination. They are discriminated. They lack access of bathrooms in public places. They face similar problems in prisons, hospitals and schools also. They claimed inability of getting a mainstream job due to lack of education, unusual, non-conforming lifestyle, unacceptable by the working environment. Then they also face health care related problems. They do not get medical treatment in normal clinics, normal hospitals. They are disallowed, and problem of HIV care and hygiene, depression, hormone pill abuse, tobacco and alcohol is also there, and voluntary castration is also not allowed. So, and it is very expensive also, so they cannot go for voluntary castration because it is very expensive and they cannot afford to be. They are mostly living a life of low socio and economic status. Then they have difficulties in getting passport, ration card, I-card, driving license, etc. And they are victims of crime also. Like in police custody also, they are mistreated, they are mishandled, and they are abused, physically abused. Then people also pass derogatory remarks on them. And suppose a man or a person is weak in work, so he is also labeled as, are you a hijra, are you a chakka? So person's potency, person's physical strength is also compared with a hijra or with a trans if he or he doesn't do physically strong work. And in other cases also, many people they say that he is like that, he is a chakka because he cannot do this work. So these are all the conceptions, stereotypes of people which have to be changed. So media has to play this role. It can either on TV or in movies or in newspapers. They can portray this image of hijuras or these trans people, that they are the normal people. They are not abnormal people. They should not be excluded from the society. They should be made part of the society as other people are, because there are several weaker sections of society. Women is one, SC/ST is one, OBC is one, then physically challenged people are one, and then there are so many. So why can't they be included in the mainstream of development of the nation? Thank you. So I would like to conclude with a suggestion or with a comment that we, the educated people, have to convey this message, to transmit this message to the society, that anybody, from a human rights perspective also, anybody or everybody has a right to live with dignity, no matter whether he or she is what. Thank you very much.
पूर्णिमा जी ने